Hey guys, Mike here from Lunch Money Comics. Today I am at the Old School Comic Show in Concord, New Hampshire. One of the best comic book shows, pure comic book shows in the entire United States, in my opinion. Not only are there incredible vendors and amazing comic books, but the list of comic creators that are here are incredible. So I have some pretty good goals that I want to accomplish today, but let's go check it out. Come along for the ride. Thank you. Do I need a leader or something like that? All right, cool, awesome. Here we are, guys. All right. I also got a cool goodie bag of all sorts of stuff. And here's Little Giant Comics. They are the sponsor of the event. They do a great job and incredible wall selection of comics. There he is. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So I have 3 goals for today. 1, I want to get some great footage to show you guys how awesome this show is. 2, I want to have some stuff signed by some of the amazing comic creators here. And 3, I want to buy very few books. I'm thinking 1 pretty good book is my goal, but you guys know how this goes. Anything could change if you find a good enough deal. Wow, this is the line for Michelini. There's David Michelini. Pretty cool. And we got the man, the legend himself, Jim Steranko. What's going on? Not bad. So I'm in the line for Steranko right now, and I'm going to have him sign X-Men 50. One of my favorite X-Men covers, and Steranko covers, of course. And I might have it witnessed and graded by CGC, or at least validated. It'd be pretty cool. So we have some pre-signed prints that are pretty awesome. Some of them are limited numbers. And there's even some original art for sale, which is really wild. So I had Steranko sign this. He did not like the box I put. He wanted to sign it in the trade dress with this iridescent green, and it is beautiful. So he's such a character, such a nice guy, said some really funny things to me. So this one is off to CGC to get a yellow label. Pretty excited about it.
Matt.
Josh, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
What's up?
What's going on? Come back. Spider-Man. Williams. Cormac. Santos. Mark Bagley. Cool.
Yeah, they do. They all. Yes, I didn't name them, but the writer did. But yeah.
Pretty cool. I got a Mark Bagley signed Spider-Man 362. Probably the most Bagley cover I could think of. All right, this place is really picking up now. Ton of people here now. All right, I get Mr. Jim Shooter here to sign the Heroes for Hope. Awesome. Wherever you want. There's
Okay.
Mr. Potts on there, Klaus, Al, of course.
Here we go. You ready?
Yep. The irony is I've met you twice before and just forgot to have this book on my person, so 3rd time's the charm.
This is one of the favorite things we ever did.
Oh, it's awesome.
Because not only did we raise about $2 million
Yeah.
with one book,
Right.
but because we did this, then DC felt obligated to do one, and Dark Horse felt obligated to do one.
Right.
And so, as an industry, we made a significant contribution to East African Family League.
There we have Mr. Al Milgram, who I might be visiting in a bit. And I'm almost at Mr. Michelini here. Hi, Mr. Bagley signed it already, and I'd be honored if you could sign this. What I think of when I think of both of you, I think of these three characters. Meeting you. That's it. Thank you so much. That is pretty cool. Well done. Impressive. Awesome. Oh, I love the gold. Nice work. Thank you so much, Mr. De La Rosa. Appreciate it.
Maybe birthday too. Yeah, was it? I don't remember. I was so busy working on this stuff. I don't even remember. I thought it was a very striking image.
Yeah.
I never thought the spot would be anything other than, the couple issues I did. But look at what happened.
Yeah.
So you just wait 20, 30 years.
It makes you into conventional.
And suddenly I'm conventional.
That's the best shirt ever. This convention Storenko doesn't roll off the tongue as easily.
No.
Well, Jim's great and all, but
He's not a conventional.
no.
No.
How could he be?
Exactly.
That guy there. I brought the book with me. I wasn't planning on getting it signed, but then when I saw all of you guys were here, I'm like, I
Gotta do it, right? Yeah. Who knows?
Especially Dave.
We're not getting any younger.
No, they'll say
We
that.
may not be around yet many more years to sign these nonsensical things. I ran off the end.
You made it. It's fine.
There you go.
So this is pretty cool. We have Sam De La Rosa, Mark Bagley, Dave Michelini, and Al Milgram all signed this book. How cool is that? All right, I got everything I wanted signed. I'm recharged. I had my energy drink. I'm ready to actually properly start checking out this con and maybe buy a book or two. Pretty cool. Oh, we have the Dave Stevens selection here.
That's it.
Pretty hot right now.
So I went for him.
Oh, you guys are the best. That is amazing. Thank you so much.
Hey, you don't need to take this one, but my son thought of this one last minute this morning before we left the house. Because we know you like hologram covers.
Oh, I love that. You know, my son
And
is
we've
like
already
amazed by
We've already
holograms.
got a couple of those.
Oh
so-
yeah. All right, guys. I met Steven and Ethan, who are fans of the channel, and they were very generous and gifted me 3 amazing books. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Hey, we love the show. We watch it all the time, every week, twice a week when he does it.
Wow. Well, you certainly didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate the sentiment.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate the show. We appreciate what you do, and this is what comic book people do for each other.
This is it. We have the best community in the
So,
world. I always say it.
yeah.
I can't believe how great it is.
So we don't mind doing that for you.
It's my favorite part about going to these shows, is meeting people. So, all
We're
right.
looking for you all day.
I've been here all day. I've
we
been in
haven't
lines.
seen you
All
until
right.
now. So.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
I pulled it off because he says that the girl that I got it for, what was it? What was the name of that? The one that's doing the constant chattering on the...
Like the Robots are running those all on.
Nerdy girl. Love that cover. It's like a towering booth of comics. That's crazy. I haven't bought a single book yet. I had a whole bunch of stuff that was signed, but
Trying to be in my
Here we are at Dark Raven Comics. Great guys from Maine. Some killer books here. Cool. Wow. Wow. Great comic books in this wall here.
That one's 8,500 and that was 11.
Oh, that's beautiful. Holy smokes. Wow, this is incredibly sharp. This is a book I've wanted for a while. It's a wicked sharp copy too. Third Green Goblin. This is an awesome cover. All right, guys. Now I'm just walking around looking for some books to buy and bring home. You know, it's definitely clearing out now, which is great. I actually feel like I can get closer to these vendors. But yeah, I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on anything. Too many things I want. A lot of things are pricey. And yeah, gotta go soon, so I better pick something quick. And Joel, some awesome books here. Bummer. That's too bad. Do like the first appearance of these Spider-Man villains. These are nice copies too.
Is that first Prowler?
It is, yeah.
Oh, Black Cat, such an underrated
Oh,
character.
I know. I'm here with Chris, and look at that. You have a Mark Bagley. He just did it on the spot. He drew it on the spot for you.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
That is
Came
tempting.
out great.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's the only one in the world. Congrats.
Only
That's
one.
fantastic.
Thanks, man.
That is my first purchase of the day. I got Sandman #1 from Amazing Comics. It's funny, I come all the way to New Hampshire and buy one from a local Western Mass guy.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, kid. Awesome. All right, guys, that is a very impressive show, not only in the caliber of comic books you can find there, but of course in the comic book creators as well. I got some pretty amazing stuff to add to my collection. Let's go home. I'll show you guys everything that I found. So there you go. That was the Little Giant Old School Comic Book Show in Concord, New Hampshire. It's in a huge sports arena. And I'm going to say the same thing right now that I said last year when I went. It's the best pure comic book show I've ever been to. And what do I mean by that? Well, for those of you that go to these bigger cons, you know that they're not all comic books. They're sort of like pop culture emporiums. They have lots of actors, voice actors, people selling non-comic book things, people dressed up in cosplay, and there's often just like a small amount of it is comic books. That is not the case here. Yeah, there were a few people dressed up, but for the most part, you go to this show because you are a comic collector. It's all comic books, amazing comic books, by the way. If you want some more rare comic books or more expensive ones, this is a great one to go to. And of course, the list of comic book creators there was fantastic. I'll be talking about a lot of these people as the video goes on. And then you heard me say in that footage, I had 3 primary goals. One, I did have some stuff that I wanted signed by some of these great comic book names. 2, I wanted to not spend a ton of money. I definitely succeeded there. I definitely stayed in the green, I would say. And 3rd, I wanted to take some really good footage, have a good time, and meet a lot of good people. Not just the comic creators, but the vendors and the comic collectors. It's my favorite part about going to the show. And I met so many awesome people. And I want to mention some of them in this footage. And by the way, if I met you at this show, we had a conversation and I forget to mention you right now, I apologize, but I had a fantastic time talking with everyone. Just a great time all around, guys. So a few people I want to mention. This is actually quite extraordinary. I bumped into a guy who I'd met before. I met him actually at my local comic book store. His name is John Mills. He's actually a local Western Mass comic book artist. He was there with his buddy Scott, who is also a comic book artist. Both of them, went to school for art. Really, really talented people. I stood in line with them for Dave Michelini. We were talking for a long time, and John mentioned he had something he wanted to give me. He had in the car. And so I was like, oh, cool, all right, no big deal. And then we kind of parted ways. Well, he caught up to me when I was on another line, and he threw this big package towards me of prints. And I said, hey, what is this? He goes, oh, that's art that I did. It's like, oh, thank you so much. But I didn't really look at it until I got back in my car. And in retrospect, guys, I really wish I had him sign some of these because he is incredible. So let me show you what he gave me. We have this right here. So this is his sort of homage to Roy Thomas. You see right here at all of his, co-creations. Isn't that beautiful? So he did this. John did this. It's unreal. As an X-Men fan, there's a lot of X-Men on here I really like. What else we got? What's up? Oh, here's the black and white version of that. Very cool. Really appreciate the inks that went into it. Here you see even homage to Hulk 181. How beautiful is that storm? That's incredible, right? Whoops. This is very difficult to go through these. We've got some Avengers here. Beautiful. Oh, I'm getting these in frame for you guys. Rom, Space Knight. Rom is sort of like an unofficial mascot of this show. I'll talk more about it in a second. And then my favorite one by far, obvious reasons, we have Nightcrawler right here. So I couldn't believe it. I actually hit up John after the show. Once I looked at these and said, hey man, thank you so much for these. I wish I had you sign them. No big deal. He's going to be at another comic book show out here in Western Mass. He's going to be at the Plastic City Comic Con. I'm going to have him sign some of these. John, awesome. Thank you for hanging out with you and Scott in line. What a great gift, guys. How cool is that? Man, our comic community is amazing, guys. Another shout out I want to give is to my buddy Brendan, the Collector Without Fear. Not only is he the biggest Daredevil fan that I know, he is also a fantastic photographer and videographer. And he's actually been filming and doing a lot of work on a upcoming project. Actually, I don't want to get into it too much because it's kind of a surprise, but he's doing sort of a documentary on the hobby itself. He knows a lot of people in the industry. He's at a lot of these shows with his huge camera mount. You can't miss him. Yeah, so Brendan is a fantastic photographer. He actually took a couple of photos of me, including the one I used for the thumbnail, which was a really fun one to take. And yeah, he actually took a lot of sort of candid photos of the con and the people there, including a lot of the comic book creators themselves. So if you want to check out this fantastic photographer, definitely check down in my description. I'll put a link to his Instagram page. He does incredible work, and I can't wait for that project he's coming out with in the future. I'll make sure that I promote it when it comes out. The last person I want to mention at this point in the video is someone named John. I saw John and his girlfriend in line for Sam De La Rosa. They just had a quick like, hello, hey, yeah, we like your channel. And then I moved on to have Mr. De La Rosa sign something, and I didn't get a chance to talk with them. Well, he hit me up afterwards on Instagram saying he wished he had more time to talk to me and that his girlfriend wanted to say hi, but we ran out of time and they couldn't find me. So huge shout out to John and his girlfriend, Allie. I wish we had more time to talk, guys, but thank you for watching the channel. Maybe I'll see you guys at a future show. So all that being said, guys, I have a lot of really cool stuff to show you. I'm pretty excited about some of this stuff. So before I do, head on down, hit that like button, and follow me on Instagram under Lunch Money Comics IG. The first thing I want to start with is this bag right here. So I actually had a VIP pass. I don't want anyone thinking I'm special. I got this because my local comic book store gets a whole bunch of these and gives them out to a lot of the, the patrons of his store. So he gave me one of these. Not only does it let you get in an hour early, I was not an hour early, I was only like half an hour early, but it also gets you this awesome swag bag. And I barely looked in this bag, guys. It was a busy, busy day. So I don't really know what's in here. I figured I'd go through it with you guys right on the footage here. I did see this one. I mentioned that Rom Space Knight is sort of like an unofficial mascot of the show. I think it has something to do with the Jason himself right here. So Jason Brodnick of Little Giant Comics and Collectibles. It's a comic book store that's in New Hampshire. It's actually moving to Massachusetts. They are the sponsors and the coordinators of this show. I don't know the behind-the-scenes story here, the meaning behind Rom Space Knight, but they do these really cool con-exclusive comic books. So I thought this was really cool. It looks really neat. I don't know much about it, like I said, but it's fun to have as a souvenir. What do we have here? Oh, this is, so this is a print by Joe St. Pierre. He was one of the artists that were there. I wish I saw this. In retrospect, I would have had Joe sign this. Joe is at a lot of local, New England comic book shows. In fact, he's going to be at the Western Mass Comic Book Show pretty soon. Maybe I'll have him sign it then. We have I think this is Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This is by Harrison's Comics and Pop Culture. Cool. It's pretty nice. We have an Iron Fist. First Sabretooth. This is Wolverine 41 Shattered Comics, an homage to the first appearance of Sabretooth and Iron Fist 14. Cool. And last but not least, the one I'm most interested in is this mystery box. So this, I don't know what this is. I still don't know what it is. Hold on a second. Oh, that is cool. So it's a little giant old school comic book show commemorative cup 2024. We have Stan Lee with different superheroes on there. Cool. That's actually really high quality. This is really nice. I'm going to use this. This is like pretty legit. Yeah, this is awesome. Cool, very cool. Oh yeah, now thanks to His and Her Comics for the VIP pass. That's pretty exciting to get like a swag bag like this. All sorts of goodies, guys. This is fun. So as I said in the footage, one of my goals was to have some books signed by the amazing comic artists and writers that were there. And paramount on my list was Mr. Jim Steranko. Now, Jim Steranko is an absolute legend. He worked primarily for Marvel in the 60s and 70s. And he's an older guy. He doesn't get out very much. However, he almost always goes to this very comic book show. Not only that, but the night before, he does a dinner. It's a small, intimate gathering. I think they only sell like 40 tickets. Anyone can go, but you buy a ticket to this dinner, and he basically just tells stories from the Marvel bullpen back in the 60s and 70s. And by all accounts, it's absolutely wild. I mean, he is an eccentric, interesting guy. The stories are crazy. I talked to a lot of my friends who were at that dinner, and they said there's nothing like it. I was actually supposed to go, but it fell through. I had family things that I had to do. Maybe next year. So I was really excited to meet him and have him sign my copy of X-Men number 50, a beautiful book, first cover appearance of Polaris, one of his most famous works. I was pretty excited to get this signed. I actually got it on my birthday a few months ago, so it was a special book already for me. I thought having Steranko sign it would be great. But I was not prepared for the level of personality I met. I mean, he's a smaller, diminutive guy. But I tell you guys, I walked up there. I didn't film my interaction because he doesn't like filming those interactions. I felt bad as it was, like filming him from far away. So when I got close, we just had this sort of intimate moment. Now, I got to tell you guys, I'm watching him meet people in front of me, right? And every single person, he stands up, gives them a big handshake and a hug, and starts talking to them. And I kept thinking, does he know these people? It seems like he knows these people. Nah, he didn't. They were complete strangers. I knew that when I went up to him. I shook his hand. He had this really strong handshake for a little guy. And I was trying to talk to him like, hey, I really like your work on X-Men and Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I couldn't decide which book to get, blah, blah, blah. And he cut me off. This is the weirdest interaction I've ever had with a comic creator, guys, but I'll never forget it. Squeezing my hand tight, he pulls me in close, puts his other hand on my shoulder and squeezes my arm. And he whispers an inch from my ear. He says, I just have to tell you, you have a marvelous physique. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And I burst out laughing. I did not expect that at all. I'm sure he says it to all the guys. And I'm not even in that great a shape, but it just caught me so off guard. I just started laughing. It was so strange, and I'll never, ever forget it. But then we started talking about the comic books themselves. Kind of funny, you saw that comic book that I wanted to have signed. I had a little square cut out of the poly bag where I wanted him to sign it. And he said, oh, I don't do that. He's like, no, I sign wherever I want. It's my cover. I'll do whatever I want. And I wasn't going to argue with Jim Steranko. He took it out of the bag and he said, don't worry, I'm going to make it look great. And he pulled out a metallic green marker. And with his beautiful flourish, he signed this gorgeous signature right over the X-Men trade dress, which he actually invented. That trade dress, the first appearance of that was X-Men 50. Signed it in this beautiful green metallic marker, and it looked absolutely gorgeous, guys. Just an experience I will never, ever, ever forget. It was fantastic. I can't wait. If I can go next year to that dinner, that would be absolutely marvelous. So, pretty awesome all around, guys. But then I had a decision to make. So they actually had a CGC facilitator there. CBCS was also there. I had to decide whether or not I would get this book graded or not. I actually had it witnessed, but when I went up to that grader, I realized how expensive it would be. I mean, grading books is expensive anyways, guys, but when you go through a third party, it's a little bit more, and it would have cost me $120 to grade this book. Well, as you can see, I'm not holding it up right now because I did decide to do it. I felt like it was a good way to sort of encapsulate and capture this moment forever, this birthday book and the meeting of Steranko. But I'll be honest, guys, I really hemmed and hawed over this for a while, whether or not I want to spend $120 to grade this book. I could have bought a whole nother comic book for that, a pretty good one. I asked a lot of friends, though, and they all said, yeah, he doesn't get out very often. This is a great book to have signed. Even the CGC facilitators, when I was kind of like, maybe I shouldn't, they were like, it's Steranko. You got to do it. So here's the thing, guys. I want to ask your opinions. Honestly, let me know if you would have done this or not. I'm still kind of going back and forth on it, and I really trust everyone's opinions. You can't hurt my feelings. Definitely sound off down below and let me know if you would have had this book encapsulated, you know, for the yellow label. That's what I ended up doing. I have no idea when I'm going to get it back. I'll make sure I show it and update you guys. But yeah, I'd like to hear your opinions. Should I have kept it raw? I don't know. I really don't know. Would love to hear your opinions. All right, let's talk about some of the other artists that I met in writers. Here's a book that I've talked about a ton on my channel. It's sort of become a little famous now, To Lunch Money Comics. It's actually this. This is the Heroes for Hope X-Men from 1985. And yeah, it was worked on by a ton of people back then. Everybody, a who's who of, you know, the 80s comic scene. And yeah, I've been trying to get it signed by as many people as possible at these cons. And yeah, and there's another person there. Jim Shooter himself, who I've met multiple times and never had this book on me. He signed it right there. So now I have it signed by 10 different people. You guys see what I do is on the backing boards, I write down whenever I have something signed, who signed it, when, where, the date, all that stuff. So I sort of check them off on this checklist. So yeah, I now have this signed by Jim Starlin, Al Milgrom, Klaus Janson, Chris Claremont, Arthur Adams, Walt Simonson, Louise Simonson, Joe Rubenstein, Carl Potts, and now Jim Shooter. Pretty awesome, guys. 10 signatures down, a whole heck of a lot more to go. Pretty fun to get this done. For those of you wondering, the signatures did cost a little bit of money. It went from like no money in the case of like David Michelini up to like $20 or so for some of those other artists. So I did get these books signed. It does add up spending wise. But here's another book. Al Milgrom was there. I met him at the same show last year. I had him sign my copy of Spectacular Spider-Man number 99, first cover appearance of the Spot. Milgrom did the cover of this. He also wrote the story. And this is my favorite Milgrom cover. I told him that. He said it's also one of his absolute favorites. And he signed it up here, which I thought was odd at first. I thought he signed the bottom. But he says he does this so that he can use one of the spots to dot the I in Milgrom. Thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, great book here. I've always liked this cover. Next up, yeah, so with Mark Bagley being there, as well as David Michelini, there were a ton of Venom and Amazing Spider-Man comic books being signed left and right. This is sort of an afterthought, guys. Before I left for the show, I just grabbed a couple books I thought would be pretty cool, and this was one of them. This is the Amazing Spider-Man 362. This is known as the second appearance of Carnage, which was invented by Michelini and Bagley. This from 1992. And yeah, because it has Venom and Carnage and Spider-Man, I thought it'd be a great book for them to sign. Bagley signed it right here. Michelini signed it right here. By the way, Michelini doesn't get out very often either. This was his first show in like 3 or 4 years. He kind of went to shut down during COVID. He doesn't get out very often. He was a very, very pleasant guy. He had the biggest line, I think, of the whole day. In this book, guys, this is crazy. I brought this again as an afterthought because I knew everyone was going to have this book signed. I originally decided not to have it signed and said, you know what, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, maybe. A book I don't particularly love. This is some 90s silliness chrome cover, but this, of course, is Venom Lethal Protector #1. This is the first solo series featuring Venom. It's from 1993. And the reason I had this signed is, guys, what a unique opportunity. We had the writer, Dave Michelini. We had the penciler, Mark Bagley, and we had both of the inkers on this. We had Sam De La Rosa with his beautiful gold scrawl right here, and Al Milgrom down the bottom. So the fact I could get all 4 guys that worked on, you know, the story and art on this book, I had to get it signed by all of them. Yeah, add up all those, you know, $10, $15 of the signatures added up, but it's still a pretty cool book, guys. So yeah, I got a lot of books signed, and this actually, you know, this with the grading was pretty much all the money I spent on the day. And it was a little expensive, but I'm pretty happy to have these. I think they're pretty unique additions to my collection. And most importantly, guys, they're a memory, right? They're a snapshot in time. I'll remember this forever. Pretty cool comic book to add to my collection and tell the story. Okay, so these next 3 books were actually a gift from some viewers. You saw them in the footage. Steven and Ethan, father and son. I actually met them last year at this very show. They are big-time comic collectors, guys. They had some monster books on them last year as well as this year. They loved showing them to me. I loved seeing them. Awesome, awesome stuff. They're from Massachusetts. They're actually from the South Shore of Massachusetts, a part that I don't go to very often. And they actually offered to drive me around if I ever go down there and visit. I have a long list of places that I intend to go to, but they actually offered to like chauffeur me around, show me some of their honey hole. So Steven and Ethan, I will absolutely take you up on that sometime this summer. But in the meantime, guys, it's just sort of like a show of appreciation for watching the channel. They had a couple of books for me. I've said it before, I'll say it again and a million times, I'm sure, in the future. You guys don't have to get me anything, but I definitely appreciated the sentiment. I didn't want to offend them by not accepting them. But this is what they got me. They got me a Web of Spider-Man number 90. This is one of the 30th anniversaries of Amazing Spider-Man with this awesome hologram. Yeah, I love these books. I thought it was really cool. My son is wowed by these holograms. I think those of us who grew up in the 90s take it for granted how cool these actually are. So I'm going to give this to my son. They also got me a Star Slayer number 3. This is actually the second appearance of the Rocketeer. Dave Stevens, of course. I'm into Dave Stevens, so this is pretty cool. They got this for me. But it's this last book, guys, that completely floored me and blew me away. You know, Steve's like, oh, I'm sure you have this already. I do not have this book. I'm pretty excited. As an X-Men collector, it is X-Men number 15. This is the second appearance of the Sentinels, who first premiered in the issue before this, and the first appearance of Master Mold. Those of you that watched X-Men 97 would have saw Master Mold in one of those early episodes. Of course, this is so early in the X-Men run. It's Stan Lee and Jack Kirby from 1965. Also, the Origin of Beast is in here. What a fantastic book. I did not have this in my collection already, guys. It's in pretty decent shape. They said it might be missing something in the inside. I don't care. This is a fantastic book. I was blown away to get it. Certainly, again, Steven and Ethan, you guys didn't have to get me anything, but I am flattered and humbled that you thought of me and got this for me, and I can't wait to meet up with you guys this summer, and you can show me some of the best places to hunt on sort of the South Shore of Massachusetts. How cool is that, guys? Unbelievable. So the last book I want to show you is the only one I actually got at the show. Like I said in the footage, I was trying to not spend a lot of money. I didn't want to buy a ton of books or something really, really expensive. I've been spending too much money lately, and as it was, guys, just getting all these books signed and that one book graded, it cost me quite a bit of money. So I was being very, very picky. You know, these bigger shows, the prices can be a little bit high, especially when the caliber of books are this good. So I waited till the last second to pull the trigger on this book. But there's always deals to be had, guys, if you're willing to look, and that's how I got this one. Coincidentally, I got it from someone I know quite well, Kit from Amazing Comics. He's out here in Western Massachusetts. He's the coordinator of the Western Mass Comic Book Show. He had this book, and he gave me such a great deal on it. I had to get it, guys. And here it is. This is Sandman number 1 from 1989, written, of course, by Neil Gaiman, art by Mike Dringenberg and Sam Keith. And this is the first appearance of the Sandman, Dream, Morpheus, all his different names. I recently talked about on my channel that I got a trade paperback of the first issues of Sandman. Although I had seen the TV show, I hadn't actually read it. Well, I did. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely dark. Absolutely. And I was prepared from the show, but it's even a little darker than I thought. But I absolutely love it. And because I love the darker DC characters, this is a book I've wanted to have for a while. And here's the crazy thing, guys. Kit had 2 of these. He had them listed at $100 and $125, both in great shape. He said, pick the highest condition one, and he'll sell it to me for $80. So I bought this for $80, guys, and it is a near mint plus, maybe a mint. It is an absolutely perfect, absolute shape. Pretty awesome, guys. Happy to add this to my darker DC collection. And, again, these comic shows can be very pricey, but if you're willing to dig and look around, you can definitely find vendors with some great deals. I think I got a fantastic deal on this book. Let me know down in the comments if you agree that's a good price. And let me know if you're a huge fan of Sandman and, of course, Neil Gaiman in general. Who isn't? So that's it, guys. This is everything I got at the Little Giant Old School Comic Book Show. One of the best shows, not only in New England, but the entire East Coast. I got some stuff at this show that I'm going to have in my collection probably forever. It was great to meet a lot of these, old school artists that I remember from when I was a kid, and I cannot wait to get that X-Men 50 back from CGC, guys. Not that I need this book to remind me of this great interaction. That is seared in my brain for all time, but it was great meeting Jim Steranko. And when I get that book back, I'll make sure I share it with all of you. I also got some fantastic, amazingly generous gifts. Steve and Ethan, thank you so much for this. We'll definitely hook up in the summer, and you can show me some of your best comic hunting spots. And stuff I just did not expect, guys. Like this amazing, portfolio of prints from John Mills. If you want to see more of his art, I'll make sure I put some links down in my description so you can check that out. John, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you this summer as well. That's it, guys. Head on down to the comments and let me know which of my pickups you liked the best. And in the meantime, I hope you keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places. Always support your local comic book shows. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.